Yeah, it's a Rap Radar podcast. My name is B-Dot.
Elliot Wilson.
Yeah, Elliot, I think we got the hottest guy in the game right now, man.
Teezo Touchdown.
Wow, thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Congratulations,
Absolutely,
brother.
Thank
you. Your album, man, is everybody's talking about it, man. High praise. High praise for the album, man.
Yeah, I've been staying offline. And just been accepting like the personal things that people have been telling me, and it's been great reviews. My team's excited. I'm excited that the people are like accepting this album for what it is. Like,
so what was your overall vision with the project? How do you sleep at night? This is your official debut, right?
Official debut. The overall vision was just this album is just my extending my hand out. I say it's like an icebreaker to a very long conversation. You think about like the friend you've had for years, or like a girlfriend or a wife. You know, it all started with that first conversation. So this is nothing me. We extending my hand. Hello, my name is Teezo Touchdown. How do you sleep at night? It's just an icebreaker conversation.
That's a deep question for icebreaker conversation.
Oh yeah, it is. I think that translates through the music. It's a very, I'm taking you right to the bedroom, a very private and personal space. So I'm going right there with you. That's the type of relationship we're gonna have. Very honest, very open.
How did you land on that? How do you sleep at night? As being
I'm glad you asked that, because at first I always say that I preach trial and success. I'm not afraid to try, and if it doesn't work, whatever sticks we keep, and if not, it rolls off. So I was out at the Mondrian after we had a conversation about, because I had this rollout that was depicting me in 2018, and at first it was an exciting start, but as we kept going, the engagement started to go down. And I remember Dante Ross told me, because we've been had this idea of like doing like this biopic thing. He was like, people aren't gonna care because it's so early in your career. And then even afterwards, when we yelled cut, when we shot that, I was like still going back to my same places. So it's like, I'm showing this 2018 thing, but like not much has changed. So we had an honest conversation to say, yo, this is not translating, it's not connecting. We need to make a pivot. So we made that pivot. We met at the Mondrian, and we said, okay, so what are we gonna do? And I looked over at the bed, and the number one question I get asked because of my appearance is, how do you sleep at night? And I remember just hopping on top of the bed with me and my manager Amal Noor, and I was like, what if we named the album How Do You Sleep at Night? And we do like the art around it, the visuals around it, all has like this constant thread of beds. And if you go back and look at like my garage content, there's always been this constant thread, and that was out of necessity at first, but I think that's where you find where the good stuff is, when you don't have anything. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to have this constant theme of how do you sleep at night. So with that comes dreams, it comes this very intimate space. So yeah, in the Mondrian, standing on top of the bed when it just hit me, and it just flew out like that.
It makes sense now when you look back on your Instagram page. You're like laying down on all the clips for the songs.
Yeah, we shot that. We had that conversation about 2 weeks of planning, and then we shot everything you see in like 2 days, album cover included. So I got to commend my team. I have a great team. The reason I shine the way I shine is because of the people behind the cameras.
How did that personal style develop to this look you think you have now? Like, what was that journey like?
So that was when I came back from LA in 2019, which I thought was the scariest thing. I was like, my manager's sending me back to Beaumont. They're going to think I failed. I'm going to think I failed.
Texas.
Beaumont, Texas, yeah. They're going to think I failed. But something hit me when I came back that like there's no other place like this. In LA and New York, you meet a lot of different people, a lot of different accents. But I'd never really ran into someone from Beaumont, Texas. So I went home and I just started romanticizing where we, my surroundings. And my dad is a handyman, so he had like tools around the house. And I started putting nails in my boots. And first started the brim of our hats, and we started putting our shoelaces. And then like a few months later, I was like, I'm thinking about putting these nails in my hair, and it kind of went from that. And as far as like the fashion, again, when I came out to LA for the first time, when Trip called me and said, yo, like, we got your flight, I just took my laptop. I had some skinny jeans and a white tank top, and that's all I went to LA with. And I wore that for a minute, to the point, like, a few weeks in, he was like, yo, I know you came out here with nothing. If you want to go upstairs, you can grab a few things. And all I went and grabbed was just some chains just to wrap around myself. Like, so I want to commend him for just being so welcoming, because, I literally came out here with, the clothes on my back. And even then, like, I think the repetition of wearing the same thing over and over is why I'm so confident in just seeing what works, seeing what sticks. So like if you go back, you can look at my career or my journey and see everything. A tiny thread goes back to the beginning.
Your video, 100 Drums, is the one that caught Trippie Redd's attention. He flew you out to LA, right?
Absolutely. So with 100 Drums, I just had this idea that I just wanted to do something something different. I just hit my friends. I had the Panic at the Disco instrumental. I just hit all my friends like, yo, be camera ready on whatever day it was. And I did that. I remember my boy Jet, who house we used to record at in Beaumont at the White House, he came in and heard the instrumental and he was like, I don't know what you gonna do with that. And then he walked out. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it either. But we recorded that, then we filmed it. But I had this energy. I knew something. Like, you know, hindsight is 2020. But when I had this vibrato, and even how my hair was, I just started painting my nails. Like I had this thing of just being a student and understanding that I needed something that was gonna take me apart. I mean, you know, separate me. So I just had this vibrato going. Filmed that, posted it up, and then a few days later, I remember saying a prayer, just thanking God for everything that I have right now and everything I didn't have. And then the next morning I wake up, my boy Jet, who house we recorded at, texted me. No, he called me. He was like, you know Chance the Rapper just posted you? Wow. I was like, nah, you lying. And I went on the story, Chance the Rapper posted me, hopped out of my bed, ran outside crying, and that was the trickle effect. And I always think people ask like why I do the fan interaction and why I do that. That what I felt in my stomach from just him doing a story post. I want to make everyone who's in tune to what I got going on feel that. I just want you to feel how good that felt. So it started with Chance the Rapper. Things are going crazy. I come out to New York for the first time. You know, I'm getting the interest from like labels and stuff like that. And then Trippie Redd. Before I go to New York, Trippie Redd happens to be in Houston, and he posts It Depends. A track I did like in 2018, and then I DM'd him. He was like, "Yo, where you at?" I was like, "I'm in Beaumont." He was in Houston. And I was like, "That's an hour and a half drive." So we all hopped in the car, drove down there, and he said, "Yo, man, I'm about to finish up these few shows, but like in a few days, I'm gonna send for you to come to LA." Okay. And I want to give send love to Hunter, his best friend, who was the one who showed him 100 drums, but Trippie Redd just being so intrigued on it, he clicked on It Depends. And that's what he posted, and that's how that relationship started. Wow. Yeah.
I know another early supporter was Tyler, the Creator, where he posted Strong Friend, I think.
Yeah, very early on. I want to say that was like the end of 2020. Yeah, Tyler, I always say we all know how intentional he is. He knows how intentional he is. I always say I've only met him twice. The first time when we recorded Run It Up, and the second time was in the green room of his arena tour. He moves with purpose, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, y'all did Run It Up together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did Run It Up together. And I don't...
Grammy Award-winning album.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations on that, y'all. And I like to keep privacy is like when we're creating, but I want to say when we created that, the AC was out in the studio. And the reason I pointed to that, because I always say it reminded me of recording at What's the Name House. You know, What's the Name House, and there's no AC, y'all sharing headphones, and it's a mic. So I always love when I can see the similarities at this high level that you would see at the beginning.
Got you. Well, you're having a hell of a 2023 though, man.
Hey, man.
You kicked off the year with Lil Yachty's album.
Yes.
Let's start here on the ride. Did you know the direction he was gonna go in for that album?
No, that was just, I want to say, was it Fashion Week or did I just come out to New York for that? No, I just met the Raisin, met Sad Pony there. He was just in New York, and I knew because I met Yachty in Atlanta, but when I seen him in New York, I was like, yo, this is a different Yachty in New York. It was something, different. I didn't know the sonics of what this album was gonna become. That was just the few records that we worked on. Like I had, it was me, Benny X's brother James. We all just pulled up, and Yachty just had these musicians all throughout the room. And I didn't know what he was playing. And, you know, we just did the ride. And, and so to hear this album, which gets better each time I listen to it, congratulations. I'm so humbled and thankful to be a part of that album. Also, to jump to the beginning of my story, the day before I flew to New York to sign, I was at Yachty's crib because I was on the trip tour, and I was like, yo, they about to park the bus for a few days, and then I was like, but I'm not trying to do that. You mind if I come stay at your house? And he was like, yeah, come on. And so, those few days right before, with the 2 days right before I signed, and, you know, I was at Yachty's crib. So Yachty, very early supporter, always still checks up on me and just tells me he loves what I do. So I got to say thank you, because I used to watch, when I met him and Coach, I was like, yo, I used to have this USB when the cable used to go out. I would go to the library and download interviews and stuff, and I had his press run that they did in New York. a part of those interviews that I used to watch all the time. So
Oh, the first round when he came out?
yeah, when he first came out, that first press run. So yeah, man, shout out to Yachty. Thank you.
Yeah. Travis Scott too, right? Modern Jam. You got some incredible placements.
I've been doing a lot of great things in New York. I always say New York is like a trampoline to me. Every time I come here, I bounce higher and higher. And another story on that, I'm big on privacy and respecting privacy. But this moment was just me and the engineer. So I'm in the studio. I'm trying stuff, and I'm like, yo, Trav, man, I don't think I got nothing. And then, cause you can't see in the live room, and I hear the engineer say, yo, he just stepped out for a minute. He said he'll be back. So in that moment of me giving up, he wasn't even in the room to even hear that. So that made me step back, take my time, and then I went back, and then now you have what you hear on Modern Jam.
Wow.
Dope.
I feel like there was more to your verse, man. I feel like you wanted to get a little bit more off, or was that all we heard?
I think I'm there to serve. So like take
Okay.
whatever, I just lay everything down. And Travis, ever since Al Barrow, has been very a music producer genius. So he knows what he's looking for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He knows what he's looking for.
Well, with those collaborations, and even like as soon as you press play on your album, you listen to a song like "Okay," you say, is that a rock song? Like, do you feel like you're stretching these genres and how to define music with this album?
I think that's important for you when you're coming out, or if you want to just be, in the history books or to be researched. You want to kind of offer something new. And I say that in the literal term. I'm all about service. So this is my offering. I don't want anything back from it. This is my offering to the game. And my sound is called Rock and Boom. It's R&B with the intensity of rock, the penmanship of hip hop, and a boom that's going to shake the world. I made sure I led with hip hop.
Yeah.
The reason that my pen is so well, I got to give all credit to hip hop.
I gotta give you some more credit though, man. You were also on that Don Toliver project.
Yes. Yes.
Luckily, I love that song.
Another New York reference. I just love
When are you gonna move here, Teezo? Come on,
Very
man.
soon. I'm gonna be a Brooklyn boy or a Manhattan man.
Hey. There you go, King from Queens.
I could be.
But talk about your relationship with Don Toliver. I read that while you was creating the album, you used to go pull up on him and give him try to get feedback from him on the project.
So me and Don, boy from down the street down there in Houston, we met backstage at the Call Me If You Get Lost, Call Me If You Get Lost tour, and just bonded off of being from Texas. Our twang got a little heavier. Just talking to Texas boy.
Yeah.
And we talked like, we want to get in the studio, like while we're on the road. We ended up in Dallas. A lot of great music history happens in Dallas. Prince and Rick James first met in Dallas. It's a lot of things that happens in Dallas. That's the one I can just come off the top. But we go to the studio, another studio story, because there's a message there. And the engineers weren't as versed as we needed them to be, But Don couldn't smoke in the studio. But Don being a true professional, I was like, man, we can't. I thought he was going to. But Don being a true professional, stuck throughout the whole thing. And that's where we started, Luckily I'm Having. But we ended up wrapping it up in Los Angeles. And yeah, to your point of me pulling up to Don, I pulled up on him. I had the album probably like 60% done. But when I pulled up on him, I played him something that I had made like that last night instead of playing him like the album. And he told me, like, nah, T, you got to stand on your album. You got to stand on it, like, really focus on this body of work that you got right now. And when the album dropped, I called him and told him, like, yo, thank you. Every time I talk to him, I tell him thank you, because when I go and I work on these projects, that's the first thing I think, like, yo, you got to stand on this. You have to really be focused on this body of work that you present. Because I have songs. I have probably album worth of songs, but this is my first body of work. So any advice I'm getting on this, I'm taking it, and that was a solid one he gave me.
Did you feel like uncertain about some of the songs that you were creating?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I felt like I had a period of time when I felt like I was making music for my team, making music for my A&Rs and the people at the office, and not really making like what I wanted to make. And that was just me, one, being scared to fail, one, getting scared to get dropped or whatever. But I think my team was very honest, and they heard that, and I expressed that to them, like, they're like, nah, you need to, one, have fun, as cliche as it sounds, just have fun, and also embrace collaborations. Once you're at this level, everyone's good. So it's something you can learn from everyone in the room.
Right. Is there a moment when you started recording this album that it clicked that this is the direction, or this is seemed like I'm getting my confidence, this is where I want to go with it?
It's not on the album, but it's when I recorded I'm Just a Fan. That's when we had that conversation with just talking about, yo, you got to have fun. I understand you have a producer background, but like let the other people in the room really collaborate because they're here for a reason. So I would say it starts from I'm just a fan. That's where it starts. And as far as the rock and boom thing, maybe like the best like potent example of
ODR song.
Yeah, because I had the album that we were supposed to put out in June done, and I already started working on the next album, which was I was gonna call it Rock and Boom, and we're just working on this sound. And I just said I don't want to have the ego or think that I'm gonna have a second chance to make my first impression. So let me mesh these two together so they can see what Rock and Boom is now. So that's why we have Rock and Boom on this album, and I'm eager and excited to talk about it and display it to the world.
And were you still recording a song a day during this whole process?
Absolutely. Song a day. Very not strenuous days, but like we may do 4 hours just on vocal production, doing harmonies and stuff. So like just a song a day just to get it complete.
Yeah. And what do you make of the high praise? It seemed like we was teasing like how it seemed like you're every rapper's favorite rapper right now. Like a lot of the praise from your peers. Like I know Drake in particular said he's praising how creative the collection was of music, and I think you pulled up on him on tour and played him the record first, right?
Yeah, we met in LA, and to go home and see that posted was insane. When I first told him, I was like, I'm excited for you just to, we know his lyricism. I was like, I'm excited for you to hear, my pen. So when I go home and I see that that's what he said about the album, it was, I've been a Drake fan. I remember when I first, found out about Drake, some girls put me on, that's how it is. Girls put me on, and then, that same week, my mom's friend had her like nieces come down from like Chicago, so like this is the time when I got my Infinity Q45 with the rims.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, showing these young ladies like this town of Beaumont, with Drake being the soundtrack to that.
Yeah.
So to fast forward to actually look him in the eyes and then hear what he says about this album. Yeah. What more can you ask for?
What was it like playing it for him? You played it for him backstage, or?
It was exciting. I played it from my DJ app, so I was like, my low end is you can't really hear these vocals, so let me turn down the low end, let me turn up the mids and the highs, because I was making this album, I was very self-conscious about the mix, because I was doing a lot of research, listening to debut studio albums. So I was like, my mix isn't sounding like a Get Rich or Die Trying, like a Nellyville, like what's happening. It's not sounding like B2K bump, bump, bump. So I was just, that's one of my references. I love that very clear tone of that song. So, but now I'm so excited about how it sounds. Like, shout out to my mixer, Scotty Damaris out in Boston. But, I'm protecting the privacy of that conversation. Absolutely.
I got it. Respect that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Drake, he brought you out on the tour.
Yeah.
On the Blurred tour. And I read that you said bringing you out was like one of the highest and lowest points of your life.
No, it was the same day. No, it got higher. So it was high planning the album, and then I went online and seen just the comments, the negative comments, and I was literally curled up in bed, like hearing it in the haters' ears. Like, wait a minute, what if they're right? Like, this is I'm scared. I literally went to the show, and my team was like happy, like we at the Drake show, like. And I'm like, I think we might need to go back to the drawing board. I don't think the world is messing with it. And my manager, Amal, was like, oh, you playing it. And then Jay Hill was like, nah, he's serious. He's serious. So, but Monique Avant, my hairstylist, told me, she was like, if you got 100 people that love you and 10 people that dislike you, when you get 100,000, that number of people who dislike you is going to increase. You just gotta, she said, are you going to listen to what Drake just said in his comment section? Yeah. Or are you going to listen to what a faceless person just,
Right. But what were they hating online about? What were they speaking on?
Is this what Drake called the best music that he ever heard? Okay. I'm a Teezo fan, but I kind of expect a little bit more from what I was getting.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of that, and it got me down. But I would say, Charles says, use me as learn from my mistakes, learn from my corrections. I think once you first starting off, nobody's gonna care.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then, the people who do care are probably going to be in your immediate vicinity, so like it's going to be all great things. But once you break past that level, you're going to get the people who are indifferent. And I think that's a good sign, so don't really run from it. I'm speaking from experience. When I first felt it, I curled up in the bed, but I can't really speak past this level because it's where I'm at right now. No, I can, because the album is out. I've been receiving good love in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after you get past the internet part, you're gonna start running into the people that actually tell you how much they care for you, eye to eye and face to face. So don't even trip on that.
Right.
Yeah. I know family's important too. Like, I thought it was interesting that familiarity stuck around, right? That's one of the earliest releases. But
yeah, it did.
Why did that still need to be on the album, in your judgment?
I think just because story, and just I want that story to be. I think I need you to know that about me. Like I said, this is a very intimate album. I think you need to know when I'm doubting myself. I think you need to know that. And then also this morning while I was getting ready, I wanna correct myself on the line. I said I'm a little old for roommates. I want to send this out publicly. Your story ain't got nothing to do with nobody else's story. However long it take, that's on you. Don't trip on that. Don't put yourself on the timeline. So this is me publicly saying I apologize for putting that line in. So if you got a roommate or whatever, it's all a part of your journey. Don't even be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
On the chorus of that song, you said, "I'm not coming back home till I'm a man."
Yeah.
Did you feel like emasculated that things weren't taking off at the time?
Probably not emasculated, just felt small, I think, before anything. But it's funny, before I left the hometown on this previous trip that I haven't been back since, I'm in Jack Brooks Airport. I'm like, man, I'm not coming back home till I'm a star. And I just said that just with that vibrato, but here we are right now. I'm on Rap Radar, debut album out. Hey. And I think those words are definitely coming into fruition for sure.
I love the scene. Is that really your dad in the video?
Oh no.
Okay.
So that's Mr. Ed. That's Thomas Bishop.
All right.
So we found Thomas by. It's funny because we initially found him on TikTok because he had like stitched together this video I did on another interview, Our Generation Music, and he was like, "Cool, hurt tonight and been hip hop for you to walk around with these nails in your head. You probably can't even fly to an airport." But during that time, we were looking for the person who was gonna play my dad during this stuff, and I'm all knowing my manager was like, "Yo, this may be the person that we should use as your dad." And it's funny that he said, like, you probably won't be able to get on the airport. And we flew him down to Port Arthur, Texas to play my dad in that thing. So, like, it's crazy how that works, how you can take something negative, and use it for the positive. But I also want to say, I don't want to keep rewarding negativity because that fan who's been hitting me up every day, like, yo, he didn't respond, but I seen he just responded to this negative comment. It's going to make that person want to switch and say, oh, I see what you react to. So it ain't gonna work again. That was a one-time thing.
But staying with family, like your dad was a DJ, right?
Absolutely.
He's the one that kind of exposed you to all the music.
Yeah. My dad was the first one. My first like Christmas gifts and stuff that I remember was like DJ Christmas, like Serato and stuff like that. Actually having a vinyl. I remember we had like the digital first, and then like I wanted vinyl just because it's hip hop. Yeah. So my dad from elementary school every weekend all the way up until college, just downloading Billboard 100, sorry about that, and just DJing weddings, retirement parties, graduations, and just seeing what songs brought people to the dance floor, what took them off. Oh, this made them go get something to eat. Oh, y'all love the single of this album, which I don't like the B-side of it. Like, so just seeing what people really like. So I credit a lot of that to my dad and just DJing.
Right. And you DJ'd yourself, right?
Oh yeah, I still got the DJ app on my phone right now.
Wow.
I still.
But as a youngin', you was spinning.
Oh yeah, spinning, scratching, all that. That's definitely pictures of me with like techniques in front of me for sure.
Okay, you still could do a party now?
I just did one off the phone, just a little curation, but I'm definitely gonna bring those back out and do that for sure.
Were you going by Teezo Touchdown as a DJ? Or?
Oh no, I was going by King Lashane.
King Lashane.
That's so crazy to hear that. Yeah, King Lashane.
What's some of King Lashane's go-to records? What records you kind of remember enjoy playing?
I don't remember, but I do vividly remember playing Little John and actual fights breaking out.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's hip hop.
And just feeling that energy. So like, that's one thing that I remember, just playing, and then next thing you know, someone's getting slammed to the wall on the side. And I'm a kid while this is happening. So I think just seeing that, also DJing parties and playing like a 3-6 Mafia and hearing kids run and scream in terror because they're like, no, this is the devil's music. So like seeing that, So I've seen like the extremes of what music can do, which is really cool.
Right. Was you into the Screwed and Chop stuff? Being from Houston?
Come on. I'm glad you brought that up. Of course, Lil Flip is my favorite rapper.
Oh, okay.
My favorite rapper. So, I think I used to be so fanned out, or like hearing like a Big Mo and hearing him take breaths in between lines. Like I remember holding the radio to my ear, just hearing him breathe. Like, whoa, this is a human. Like this is like a person. And with them being from Houston, even when pictures get taken in Houston, when artists perform in Houston, to me it looks so different. Cause like, yo, y'all right down the street from my house. So yeah, of course. I think one of the real surreal things of this moment that I have right now was being able to call OG Ron C a few days ago and just ask him about this R&B group that I was asking about, and him being able to like just tell me like who had been there firsthand and be able to see this. So to be able to still call those people and talk to those people with this thing that I'm a fan of, what more can I ask for? So yeah, huge group fan.
Yeah, it seems like you're a big fan of Janelle Monáe. She's
Absolutely.
on the album as well. You said on Twitter, I can't believe I have a song with Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, just talking about debuts. Like I remember how Janelle Monáe debuted in her showmanship out the gate. And still continues to do that, to still continue to push what artistry is and the self-expression, and to meet her. And I always say that the great people who I've ran into, they have these three qualities, and now these three qualities are what I stand by. Okay. They all have hospitality, they have professionalism, and they have that twinkle in their eye because they love what they do. And Janelle Monáe definitely has that. I was honored that was the first person who I pressed play for on this album.
Why was she the right voice for that song?
I think that's just her talent. I think my team reached out. It was like, yo, what if it's Janelle Monáe? Because Janelle Monáe has been showing me love. Like, I was at her house. I was born on Halloween. I was at her house at her party.
Heard about her parties now.
Oh yeah, the first time I always say the first time I met her, I don't even know if I truly met her because it was a rabbit that grabbed me from the front door and escorted me in. So it could have been Janelle Monáe. So yeah, just press and play for Janelle Monáe and the beautiful people of Wonderland, and just them just pouring into me, telling me what they love about the album, and just sharing those stories. Like, I'm glad that was a great first person to press play for, and the first person that you hear other than me on this album.
Yeah, you kept the features kind of to a minimum on this time around, right?
Yeah, out of fear. Out of fear and just of asking for things. I'm working on it, but yeah, that was just out of fear of just being scared to ask someone to. It was to the point that I was like, I'm not even going to make something with them in mind because I know I'm going to have this fear of asking. So I'm working on that. So like Janelle Monáe, I didn't come over to fear. I have our teams connected. Boucher, we just had a relationship of just being friends, and so that was natural. And then Isaiah Russ, I'm a fan of him. He's the front man of a punk band out in Houston, Fade 'Em All. So it's like with my peers, I don't get that bubbly feeling in my stomach. But it's like with the stars, me being so many years of being a fan, they're still stars to me, and I'm still scared. I'm still scared.
Were you scared on stepping that stage with Tyler the Creator during Call Me If You Get Lost tour?
I wasn't, because he came in and he told me something that I always tell people who are like going on their first tour or just about to go on stage. He told me, he was like, they're going to be standing there and they're going to be looking at you. Don't take offense to it. They're just processing you. So
as an opening act,
yeah. That took away any fear or worry of going on that stage. My main concern was just giving these people a great show. But him telling me that took away any stage fright or fear that I have.
I read before you go on the show, you listen to gospel music?
I haven't done that in a while, but what I do now, I just call my dad and we say the Lord's Prayer before I go on.
Oh, that's what's up.
So we still got God in the room.
Okay.
Still in the green room. Still on the rider.
We're talk about family again too with the daddy mama drama. Like, how do you balance that? Like, I guess whatever fame looks like, right, in terms of celebrity or getting noticed, and still dealing and being there for family and the challenge of that.
The day the album came out, because I played my dad a few songs of the album, but I didn't play him Daddy Mama Drama. And I would hear other artists say like they would play like these personal records for people before they put them out. I didn't do that. Only because I knew this wasn't like I hate my parents thing. Like I had the blessing of I was the first child that my parents were able. When I say able, I mean that they were able to raise. You know what I'm saying? My mom's from where's she from? She from Woodville, Mississippi. My dad's from Nacogdoches. Life is crazy, but I was the first one they were able to, and I always commend them. I was like, for me to be the first child that y'all raised together and y'all make a star, I always commend them and tell them thank you so much. A lot of the hospitality that I have all comes from, my parents. So when I did like a song with Daddy Mama Drama, and I say, when I turned 13, they say when I turned 13, I just stopped caring. And my dad told me, he was like, yeah, man, it's like when people tell me they got kids, the first thing I ask them is, they made that change yet? When they just stop liking your parents, they stop liking themselves. So hearing that, I'm also afraid of having that moment when this thing that you have seen and you held one day, just whatever happens to us, just, you know, stops. But that support system for my family, I think I'm thankful for it. I think out of fear, you know, they want you to go to college, you know, they just want you to be all right. So for this to start happening for me, they become my biggest supporters. And I think for the next generation, you know, when we start having kids, I think they'll have it a little bit easier because we are the living, breathing thing that is possible. Support your kids, like, let them do whatever they want. And you know what I'm saying? Lead by example.
Yeah. Going back from being from Texas, like a lot of times we'll see you could be successful in Texas and have a career, right? But you seem like you from jump had a ambition. You want to be bigger and be bigger than just the home state, like.
Absolutely. In Texas, we definitely have that privilege of we can basically survive just by being, you know, big in Texas, but we also have that standard of stars that come from Texas. We have Beyonce, we have Erykah Badu, you got Larry Graham, you got the list goes on and on and on. So we do have that, but we also have these stars that want everything's bigger in Texas. I think our aspiration and our drive is also big as well.
I mean, Beyonce the biggest in the game. So.
I mean, it doesn't get no bigger, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or when did you start to feel like you were really making strides?
Probably when I called OG Ron C.
Oh, okay.
Just cold call, like, I got his number, let me call him. But
explain who he is, people may not know.
Oh yeah, OG Ron C. OG Ron C of the Chop Stars, man. Legendary DJ, Houston person. I'm not even gonna, I'll say / person, mentor, DJ. I'm gonna shout out this YouTube page called Rare Texas Mixtapes. If you want to go see Paul Wall, Mike Jones on the ground passing out DVDs at Texas Relays, go check that out. So I think just being able to call these people and call and ask for help and being able to just talk to like the people who I'm a fan of, like a Don Toliver and so on and so forth. I think that's when I started realizing that I was probably moving and doing something.
Yeah.
I also feel like 2020, you know, during the pandemic is when you really started to make waves. You shot like 8 videos in front of the garage.
Yes.
Did the pandemic afford you that opportunity to create?
No, so to jump back to 100 Drums, I shot that, and then Trip was like, come to LA, and it's like that momentum was going, but I didn't have anything else to like follow it up with. So when I went back and we shot those videos, 'cause I was about to go on the road with Trip, he offered me to just, you know, I feel like when Trip brought me to LA, he didn't say what his intention was, but to me, how I took it was, like, I want you to see this up close. I want you to see this thing that you're chasing up close. That's my perspective. We still haven't talked about why, but I think I know why. He's a loving and caring person, so I think that just shows his heart. So I was like, all right, I'm about to go on the road, and I want to shoot something, so I'm able to post while I'm still on the road, and I won't lose that momentum being away from the garage, being away from my team. So I just shot those, and again, me speaking, I said, yo, I'm going to drop these videos, and I'm going to get so hot, they're going to have to pull me off the tour. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
All right. And people still want you to shoot videos in the front of the garage still?
They ask about it, and they think that, like, this is like me moving on and moving forward. Oh, yeah, I also want to say here on Rap Radar, I own that garage now. At first, we used to trespass. We used to trespass, but I own that garage now.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't said that publicly. Thank you. Thank you.
But you would shoot $100 videos for you support the community, support your people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, the money, the $100. By the time I edited the video and got it back to you, the money is gone. So a big part of why it was $100 was because I couldn't afford videos, and I knew my other artists around me couldn't afford videos. So it's not a money thing with me. Yo, spend a little $100 so I can get something to eat and put gas in my car and be able to go to the studio myself. I'm gonna edit that video and I'm gonna have it to you the next day. Just because I don't want to hold up your dreams. I used to pay like music videographers, and I probably still ain't got a video now. I want my video, all right? I still ain't got my video yet, but I just wanted to, I always felt I didn't want to hold up nobody's career. Like, I knew we all chasing something, so let me shoot a video for you and go do your thing. You go to my YouTube page right now, I got a playlist of all of those, and it's like 20 videos, and I was like, I don't never remember having $1,000, let alone $2,000. So that's code to show you I was doing all of that work, but the money, it wasn't for me to have money in my pocket. It was just to support.
It's ill that you still keep the old stuff up on YouTube. Like, you're not archiving them or taking them down. Like,
Yeah, that's because even how I talk in my interviews and I conduct my interviews, I was in Beaumont watching y'all talk to these artists and watching them get that game, watching those Jay-Z, those Drake interviews, watching that, and knowing that I couldn't search up how will Teezo Touchdown blank, blank, blank. But there was a lot of great interviews, there was a lot of great journalism that I could go out and study. So the reason I leave that up, the reason I do my interviews so well is for that next person who's searching up, how do I want to do, what's my story going to be? So I want to show you that. I say I believe in trial and success. Watch how I mess up. Learn from it.
Right. Is that what Teezo Suave did? How did we evolve from Teezo Suave into Teezo Touchdown?
Teezo Suave was just a poor imitation of Rico Suave. And I just had to grow up and let that go. And Teezo Touchdown came, you know, I was a band kid. You know, I played trombone.
Okay.
And my boy Sean Lewis, who was a football player, we would always joke about like, yo, band ain't a sport. Now we would talk about how bad the football team is. But at the end of the year, at the end of the season, all of the football players were getting together their highlight tapes because they were all they want to go to the next level. And here I am making mixtapes and stuff because I want to go to the next level. So the reason my name is Teezo Touchdown is because that similarity of like the athletes putting together these highlight tapes to go to college and then go to NFL to take care of their families. I feel like musicians, we do the same thing. We put together these highlight tapes, like these albums, in order to go to the next level.
Yeah. Speaking about your pride for your pen, like one thing draws me a lot of the records and albums is that opening line that draws you in. Like when you talking about Spider-Man this, or maybe you could have been a painter. Like speak to that as a writer, like how important it is to kind of grab the audience with that opening bar.
I think since my first album, I understand my penmanship. I understand like a few like similarities and repetitions that I have, but I haven't got down to the point of like, this is why. But you know what? No, I think I have my first love is music, second is film, third is journalism, and my fourth is comedy. So I think a lot of that comes from watching comedians and not looking past the joke, looking at the timing, looking at their timing, their writing. I just went to the Comedy Store for that first time so I can see it up close. And then I went again and seen, oh, you're doing the same jokes. Like they're working on their craft. So I think a lot of that wit comes from wanting to evoke one of the emotions, whether it be happy, sad, anger, or laughter. So I think right now I'm going to credit that to my love for the comedy and timing.
You said one girl was a comedian, man. She was.
Yeah, everything you say is funny. It feels like I'm dating a comedian. Yeah, with the laugh track. Yeah, I love comedy.
All right, who's your favorite comedian?
I don't really have one. I think I just love the arts.
Okay.
I haven't really found one. I think I'll probably find that as I go to more shows and see them in person. Yeah.
What song on the album are you most proud of from a lyricism standpoint?
I'll probably say one I love. Like I said, I've created not thousands, but a lot of songs. I feel like artists always say, yo, thousands. A lot of songs. Yeah. A lot of songs. But I am proud of this being like a complete body of work. But I want to say, I think Neighborhood.
Neighborhood, that's my favorite.
Yeah, Neighborhood. And that was just a stream of consciousness. Like just, I didn't understand, when I got the first verse done, I was like, okay, here's an opportunity to talk about, I guess, perspective. I have this trend in my writing where sometimes the first verse is kind of like the second verse, but that was, I feel like, that trend being graduated and just expounded upon. And I think a hard second after Neighborhood was going to be Impossible, the last song that I recorded for the album. And that's when the budget's running out. I don't know if I can afford my engineer anymore. Like, something got to shake right now. And I think I want to give love to Andrew Keller, my engineer, who did a lot of like the vocal production and stuff on this. But like that's the last session. I was like, you know what? Let's strip it down. None of that crazy stuff we've been doing for Impossible. I was like, let me just talk to the perspective of the first person who told someone, you can't do this. I wrote that song from the perspective of the first person to say, well, that person, but the person that told them they couldn't do it, and like. And so on and so forth. This trend of just projecting that you can't do that to the next person. So those two, I probably say I love the pen on that.
Yeah, I like okay because it seems like it's a middle finger to all those naysayers.
Probably, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, right. I think subliminally it definitely was that. And I say this is my icebreaker. So like, even the first line of my debut album is someone stopped me and said, "Hey, dude, have you seen the Spider-Man?" Like it gets as surface level as that. all the way down to like a daddy mama drama. So if you haven't listened to it again with that perspective, I literally start with an icebreaker for this album.
Right. What's your dad think about all the success that you are experiencing right now?
He loves it. I remember like right before, I remember the conversation he had with me, I want to say maybe 2018 or it was like end of 2018 when he came in, brought the chair in the room and said, yeah, your mama said what y'all was talking about yesterday. You know, when you just had that conversation with your parents, when you're able to process your childhood, and you just want to have that adult conversation with them. And he came like, your mama said, tell me what you were saying. And he put the chair down, and he was like, but you need to find out what you're going to do, because usually, if it don't happen for people around this time, it usually doesn't happen. And a few months later, for him to come home from work, I'm like, yo, daddy, I'm about to dip. Trippie Redd about to bring me to L.A. And I just remember him sitting down saying, man, it's all happening so fast. But I want to go back probably a few weeks before that, when I told him, like, yo, Dad, I really don't want to work at this gas station anymore. I really want to put all into my music. And he told me, like, yo, the reason I'm doing all this because I know that's what you want to do. In Barry Movie S, he had this map of Beaumont, Texas. And I didn't know what it was. It was just a big scroll. And he got it, and he, like, hold this end of it. And he held it. And then he dropped it down with a map of Beaumont. And he said, you're going to put Beaumont on the map.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I talk about daddy mama drama, and I want to show the whole spectrum of your parents as you're going through this, and your family and your friends accepting this. To always say what we're doing is achievable, but sometimes it can be unbelievable that we are here. So don't be jaded. Don't take it personal that people don't see it. As long as you see it, that's all that matters.
But you also touch on relationships and women, and like, what do you think the feedback's been from that side of things in terms of making that type of content?
From the women who talked to me about the album, they love the R&B. They just love it. So I think that's just me. I think that's Teezo Suave, maybe.
That's Teezo Suave.
Yeah. That's Teezo Suave just talking to the ladies, man.
But is there some vulnerability in it, or is it just more suave to you?
No, definitely vulnerability. I think I got to go back to giving Drake the credit of making that cool and acceptable to be that. Like, I remember, like I said, when those girls showed me Drake, like, I was immediately in the studio doing my horrible impersonation of being honest and vulnerable, putting voice memos from my dad and my boy, like, doing all of that, But I think just, with his offering to the game, there's many students who just took that and expounded upon it. So I think that's definitely where it comes from, for sure. Yeah,
and there was a girl that was real significant in your life that passed away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say how important was her,
very important, very important. I want to give love to the family. I've not been saying the name, just out of talk about privacy. Absolutely, to the family, and that was the person. She really, when I was out in Prairie View, just still DJing off my phone, and like she took that serious. Like, she would go to people like, yo, I know y'all got a party, like, Teezo need to be like the DJ. Like, y'all need to have Teezo. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, Teezo. And she would be that socialite. And I give her credit to a lot of why I work the room the way I do because of her. So I think she was the one who was like, who kept telling me, like, yo, you need to really, really do this. But I was just being a college student, just turning up. But I give a lot of credit to what you see today, to that family and to her. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you seem like one hand of it seemed like you keep to yourself, but then you had a funny line there about Nune talking about why are we talking in the club? Music's too loud in the club. Like. Yeah,
I think definitely probably I got to give credit to y'all's podcast with Tyler the Creator when he was talking about like just the performative aspect of that, and then ever since then I was like, wow, I see that. I see that a lot. And I went to a party once and I had a studio session the next day, and me trying to talk in the club when there's smoke and there's fog really damages my vocals. Yeah. So I was like, yo, it's no need to even have this conversation. Or when like we're out somewhere, I'm like, hey, do you want to meet such and such? I'm all about meeting you in a very intimate setting. It's like, it's no disrespect, but it's just like, this isn't the place. I'm not trying to do the hand on the shoulder, yelling in your ear, telling you how much I appreciate you. I would much rather do it in a very intimate session so you can understand that I mean what I say and I really appreciate you. So yeah, Nune was just, I feel like that's definitely inspired by that. So thank y'all for that. Yeah,
of course. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you have it, like you come in with a unique look, people are drawn to you, right?
Absolutely.
So you capture. So like Tyler speaks about that a lot. Like, how are you dealing with like now all this newfound extra attention to everything you're doing?
I move with my big three: hospitality, professionalism, and I care and I love what I do. Mm-hmm. So when I step out of my hotel room or wherever I step out, I'm Teezo Touchdown, and the first thing is hospitality and professionalism. So feel free to that Nune thing. That's only for the club. Yeah. Anywhere else where I can hear you and I can look you in the eyes, feel free. Like, I remember when it was 0 people interested in this. I'm gonna always have time to talk to you. Like, I'm here. I always say I want to be the biggest star in the world. But I say it like, I want you to be able to close your eyes and think of like your friend who you told everything to. They know where the bodies are here. Y'all have memories and stuff. He just happens to be the biggest star in the world that you can still call and text. So I want you to come up and talk to me. This is what I do it for.
Right. But as you ascend, you know, your star is rising. Are you having a hard time saying no? I'm sure people are knocking down your door, wanting to collaborate, features, things like that.
I think I'm just having a hard time. I'm not saying yes so fast because I hate letting people down. So I'm always like, yeah, like, let's do it. But it's like I just have to, instead of giving them a yes or a no, just like, yo, give me a second so I can check on my team and make sure that my schedule even allows it, because I would hate to let you down.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm about to use that though, Teezo.
Yeah, I would hate to let you down, so give me a second, yeah.
What made you close the album out with the original was better, and what's kind of the message behind that?
For the original was better, I think that goes back to that's all of my loves, you know, the love of film and comedy. And, you know, when you would hear like, oh, they're doing another remake, oh, like, it's just the idea of nostalgia. And, you know, usually with nostalgia, the reason we love these albums or these movies is because it's connected to a memory. That's why when I dropped my album, I was like, for your first listen, put on some pajamas, wind down, and really take on this experience, because when you attach a memory to the music or the art, it's going to be with you forever. So I think the original is better with just like a conversation about nostalgia. It's a sonic punchline as well, you know, being there with Dylan from 100 Gex, RAY2K, being in there just joking, like having the song start off like this, doing this EDM remix in the middle of the song, and then going back to the original. So and not only is it a lyrical punchline, it's also a sonic punchline if you go back and listen to it.
Well, I want to go back and listen to this, man. It's one of the, you know, outstanding
Put your pajamas
albums of the year,
on.
man. I gotta buy some new pajamas,
Yeah,
man.
you do.
Rock out with it, man. But nah, thank you. You know, the creativity, man. You know, definitely.
Thank you.
As people are saying, you know, we definitely need that. You know, people say everything sounds the same, blah, blah. But just to have you come with the right energy and like take your time with this and have this body of work that really represents you, it's definitely a standout of the year.
Thank you. I think that comes from me just being a fan first, and I look at it like, what would I want to see from my favorite artist? And I just do that. That's all you see right now, just me being a fan first.
Yeah. True student of the game, Teezo.
Absolutely.
Word up.
Continue success, brother.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Rap Radar Podcast.
Yeah.
Swipe up, like and subscribe.